This woman received a very disturbing phone call from her husband, who was at that time fighting in a war zone. He called her from his mobile phone, which was actually prohibited. He only had a few seconds before his shift started, and all he said was, "I miss you," and then he hung up. She didn't think much of it at first, because these types of calls were rare, but the next day she heard terrible news. Her husband had been killed in action. It was later discovered that he had made this call from his mobile phone right before he lost his life. This story is truly heartbreaking. It makes us wonder how many soldiers must have similar stories to tell. What if they could tell them? Would we listen? Would we care? The answer is probably yes, because in the end, it's not about politics or power struggles. It's about people and their stories. Now, let me continue the story so you can see how strong and resilient this woman is. She happened to save her husband's last voicemail. Every night before going to bed, she listens to it. And now, let me tell you why. On that fateful day, the soldier had called his wife from a dangerous place where there was an ongoing battle between two armies. Back then, he was serving his country and risking his life to protect others. In the military, it's common for soldiers to be deployed in combat zones where they face life-threatening situations daily. These deployments can last for months, keeping soldiers away from their loved ones. During deployment, soldiers may find themselves in isolated and stressful environments, making communication with family and friends back home challenging. Despite the hardships, soldiers often make every effort to stay connected to their loved ones. They may use whatever means necessary to send messages, such as emails, text messages, or phone calls. Communication helps soldiers cope with the stress of deployment and maintain a sense of connection to the outside world. It also reminds them of the reasons they are fighting and gives them strength to endure the challenges they face. That's why the soldier called his wife from a place where even making a phone call could get him killed. When the soldier called his wife, he probably didn't know that it would be their last conversation. He likely didn't realize that his life was hanging in the balance and that his next move could be his last. But despite the danger, he still took the risk to call her and say, "I love you." The fact that he called from a prohibited place shows how much he wanted to connect with his wife. It was important for him to tell her that he loved her and remind her of their bond even from a dangerous place. After all, when someone loves someone else, they want to be close to them as much as possible, both physically and emotionally. So the soldier probably called his wife out of love and affection. He wanted her to know that he was thinking of her and that he missed her. He probably hoped that by hearing his voice, she would feel closer to him and remember how much he loved her. Unfortunately, this was the last time he would ever call her, and she would never hear his voice again. When the soldier said, "I miss you," he probably wasn't expecting to be killed the same day. Saying goodbye over the phone might have seemed like a routine part of their relationship to him. After all, he'd probably said similar things to his wife many times before during his deployments. But this time it would be the last. When he said those three little words, "I miss you," he had no idea that it would be the last thing he would ever say to her. The fact that he didn't realize this makes the moment even more heartbreaking. He was just being a loving husband and telling his wife that he missed her. He didn't know that it would be the last time, and now she listens to his last words every night before going to bed. When the soldier's wife received her husband's voicemail, she probably felt a range of emotions. She may have felt touched by his love and affection, but also a sense of foreboding and sadness. After all, she knew that her husband was in a dangerous place and that his life was at risk. When she listened to his voice, she was reminded of the bond they shared and the love they had for each other. But at the same time, she couldn't help but worry about his safety and wonder what the future held for them. The voicemail became a reminder of both the joy and sorrow in her life. And now, she listens to it every night before going to bed. When she goes to sleep, she wants to hear her husband's voice one last time. It's a way for her to feel connected to him and remember the love they shared. For her, it's a way to honor his memory and keep his spirit alive. She probably finds comfort in knowing that he loved her and that he was thinking of her even in his final moments. The voicemail has become a part of her nightly routine and a source of solace in a time of grief. But that's not all. The soldier's wife does something else with his message. It's not just a sad and difficult story. There's also a touching element to it. After her husband's death, she used his last words to create a lullaby for their child. She set his message to music and made it a part of their child's bedtime routine. This is a beautiful way to honor her husband's memory and pass on his legacy of love and affection to their child. It allows the child to feel connected to their father even though he's no longer alive. And it serves as a reminder of the unconditional love that parents have for their children. In addition to using her husband's voicemail as a lullaby, the soldier's wife also recorded it for an episode of a podcast called His Last Words. This is a project that collects audio recordings of soldiers' final messages to their loved ones. The episode featuring her husband's voicemail was titled, unsurprisingly, His Last Words. This is a powerful testament to the impact that these final messages can have on the families of fallen soldiers. By sharing her husband's story, the soldier's wife is helping to keep his memory alive and honoring the sacrifice that he made. It also gives other families a chance to connect with her and share their own experiences. She has given people around the world permission to cry, to grieve, and to remember those who have died. Overall, this woman's story is a powerful example of love, loss, and resilience. Her decision to honor her husband's memory through his final words is touching and inspiring. She has turned a tragic situation into a beautiful tribute to her husband and a way to connect with others who have experienced similar losses. The soldier's wife is a true hero who has found a way to make a positive impact from a negative experience. Her story has resonated with people around the world who have praised her for her strength and determination. Many have called it the most human moment of war. It's a reminder that behind every conflict, there are real people with real stories, and that even in the darkest of times, love and hope can endure. The soldier's wife continues to share her husband's story in the hopes that it will bring comfort to other families who have lost loved ones in war. She is a true inspiration to all who know her, and her story is a testament to the power of love and remembrance. Every year on Veterans Day, this woman posts her husband's last voicemail on social media, accompanied by a montage of photos and videos of him. It's a touching tribute to her husband and a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who serve in the military. The post has become a tradition for her and a way to honor her husband's memory. It's also a way to raise awareness of the challenges faced by military families and the importance of supporting those who serve. Our soldier caller was a man named Tyrone Woods, and back in 2008, he was serving with the Army's 82nd Airborne Division in Afghanistan. He'd been there for a while and had been fighting in some pretty intense battles. But he called home anyway. He knew that when he did this, he could only get out a few words. His superiors were strict about soldiers keeping their calls brief so that others could use the satellite phone. It was probably just another one of those routine calls where he said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm okay. Call me back when you can." And then he hung up. He got killed that very same day in an enemy attack, but he never knew it. That was the last time his wife ever heard his voice. Now, you might be wondering how she got that last voicemail and why she keeps playing it every single night. So let me explain. The thing is, back when Tyrone called home, he left that voicemail not just on his wife's phone, but on multiple devices. He had a cell phone, a work phone, and even the answering machine at his parents' house. So there were 3 voicemails total. Tyrone's wife would listen to all 3 of them, and they always brought her comfort. She could hear him saying, "Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm okay," and then the line would go dead. It happened so suddenly that she didn't have time to ask any questions or send any messages back. She was just confused and scared until she heard from his commanding officer. They told her that he died in an enemy attack, but it wasn't clear what happened. They couldn't bring her husband's body home right away, so they sent him to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware for identification. When she finally saw his body, it was covered in so many bandages that she couldn't even recognize him. All she could do was trace the lines of his face with her fingers. She did the interview with the podcast in 2019, and at that point, she had already listened to that last voicemail over 1,000 times. I mean, that's almost 3 times per day for 11 years. Even after all that time, she still teared up when she heard his familiar voice. There were even times when she woke up in the middle of the night hearing him say, "Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm okay." Whenever she played it, she could hear the gunfire in the background. It was hard to make out his words sometimes, but she knew he loved her. She knew he was trying to tell her that, even though he was fighting in a war zone, he made sure to call her and let her know he was alive. He wanted her to know he was okay. Now, if you've ever lost someone close to you, I don't have to tell you how powerful it can be to hear their voice, even if it's just for a few seconds. It can feel like a piece of them is still there, like a part of them is still with you. You can remember who they were, what they sounded like, and it gives you strength to keep going. In a way, the recording became a lifeline for Tyrone's wife. Even now, years later, when she listens to it, it feels like he's there with her, telling her everything's all right, and it makes her feel a little less alone. But it's not just her who finds comfort in it. Their little boy does, too. Yeah, their son. Now, don't get me wrong. Their kid is far too young to understand what's going on or why his dad isn't around. But whenever Tyrone's wife goes to bed, she'll play the recording for him. She says it's become part of their bedtime routine. So every night before he goes to sleep, the little guy hears his dad's voice saying, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm okay." Maybe someday he'll understand what it means. Maybe not. But his mom thinks it's important for him to grow up knowing that his father loved him. She wants him to know that even when Tyrone was far away fighting in a dangerous place, he still found a way to say hi and tell him he missed him. It's a beautiful thing, really. And to honor her husband and his memory, she even included that recording in a lullaby she sings to her son. She changed the words a bit so that it sounded like Tyrone was singing to their baby boy. And I think it's just such a sweet way to keep his memory alive. Like even though he's gone, he's still a part of their family. He's still there in the morning when they wake up and at night when they go to bed. He might be gone, but he's not forgotten. That's what that voicemail means to them. And it wasn't just for her or their son. In 2019, she decided to share that voicemail with the world. She gave that recording to the people behind the podcast. They used it for an episode they titled His Last Words. And I promise you, it'll bring tears to your eyes. The thing is, when they released that episode, it went viral. Thousands of people listened to Tyrone's last message. They heard him say, "Hey, just wanted to let you know I'm okay." And they understood what it meant. Then, in November of 2020, the podcast posted that clip on YouTube. The title was His Last Words, The Most Human Moment of War, and the video has over 7 million views. For Veterans Day, CNN put together a montage of military spouses listening to their loved ones' final voicemails. Tyrone's wife was one of the women they featured. They also included other women who lost their husbands in combat. Some of the voicemails were funny, some were sad, but they were all really powerful, and they all showed just how much these men loved their families. It was a great way to honor our troops and remind us of the sacrifices they make every day. Listening to those voicemails, it's hard not to feel moved by the love and devotion these men had for their families. It's a powerful reminder of what really matters in life and the lengths we go to protect our loved ones. I mean, let's face it, in the grand scheme of things, what does it matter if we're rich or famous or successful? When push comes to shove, all that really matters is family. Tyrone's wife didn't just save those voicemails for herself, but for everyone who's gone through something similar. She knows how hard it can be to lose someone you love, especially when it happens so suddenly. And she also knows how important it is to remember them, to keep their memory alive. And that's exactly what she's doing with those voicemails. She's keeping her husband's memory alive by sharing his voice with the world. And in doing so, she's helping others who've gone through similar experiences. It's a beautiful thing, really. And it's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love and family can shine through. So let's take a moment to appreciate the love and sacrifice of our troops and their families. And let's also take a moment to appreciate the power of love and family. Because no matter what happens in life, as long as we have each other, we'll be okay. That's all for today. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.